Alright, so today I want to talk about something I seen posted by Spook556 NATO on Twitter here, saying this is the kind of BS we're up against, and basically this is a thread talking about a guy saying, this is my hunting rifle, maybe you should get yourself up to speed and stop lying, obviously post the picture here, and then Buddy responds here by saying, I have no problem with people having that rifle. The problem lies with military style assault rifles like this one. And again, for anybody who hasn't realized the massive irony behind these posts here already, um, that being, they're actually the exact same gun. They are the exact same gun. The only difference being one is in a tactical style stock. Again, I have shot both of these. I have one of these guns, and I have a family member that has another one of these guns. So again, I've shot both of these many times, and I can tell you for certainty the functionality behind them is almost the exact same. In fact, reloading the Woodstock one's actually easier in some ways. That being, um, SKSs aren't the same as a regular semi-automatic style gun in that to remove the magazine, you have to pull a kind of a pin back, pull the magazine out, latch, and then take a new one, latch it in, and let the latch go forward. So again, it's a lot harder than a traditional semi-automatic rifle, like an AR-15 or something along those lines. Um, the Woodstock gun, the bolt simply stays open and you can drop your 5 rounds back in there and you're good to go, right? Like reloading the Woodstock one's arguably faster than the semi-automatic one. So again, the main thing I wanted to get at though is this is just how ignorant the average anti-gun person is. And again, it's not all of them, but it's most of them. And does the average person not know the difference, or the average anti-gunner? Probably not, to be honest. If you pulled anti-gun people and you said, um, let's just say you gave them like 10 different guns just to not make it obvious. Should this gun be banned or should this gun not be banned? My guess is that the black one, the one with the tactical stock, would get at least double as many people wanting to ban it than the Woodstock one. For the simple reason being that the tactical style stock one just looks scary. And here's the thing when it comes to anti-gunners, the one thing that I think people really need to understand is that if they were actually honest about what they believe, I think that I would give them a lot more respect. I would still disagree with them. I would still criticize them. They're still wrong. But at the very least, I would respect them. And that if they actually were honest and said, you know, we just want to ban guns that look scary, right? Like, we just want to ban guns that look scary because that's what their actual position is. They don't care about saving lives because if they cared about saving lives, they would acknowledge that um, the vast majority of guns that are used to kill people are illegally obtained, which means any gun control laws would have a very, very, very minimal effect, if any. Not to mention, I've literally seen police chiefs say it would have no effect, but nonetheless, it would have a very small effect, if any. Um, and number two being that the vast majority of guns used to kill people are handguns. And again, the guns that they usually go after are the semi-automatics. And to be honest, I think that they want to ban pretty much all guns, if not all guns, at some point anyway. The reality is that the overlords and the people that they go to get their opinions, they know that if they just called for an outright gun ban, that it wouldn't be popular. They know that the only way to get what they want done, which is banning pretty much all guns, let's just be honest about it, done, the only way to do it is to do it piece by piece. The first thing they need to do is ban the scary assault rifles, and then when they get that done, they're going to point out, hey, handguns are the ones that are used for the vast majority of killings. Let's ban those too. And then when they get those, it'll be like the argument all along is, oh, you don't need this gun to hunt, you don't need that gun to hunt. And then what's going to happen is that they're going to realize that bolt action rifles are similar to sniper rifles, and they'll make that argument. And that's too scary. You can't have a sniper rifle. They kill like one person a year in Canada. Um, so we'll have to ban those too. And before you know it, you'll be left with maybe like single shots, maybe bolt action 22s. Like that's what we'll be left with. Single shot shotguns, maybe if you're lucky. Um, And again, that's what the goal is. So again, but going back to what I was saying is that if they were actually honest about their opinions, that being they want to ban pretty much all guns, and number two, the more big thing being we just want to ban guns that look scary. At the very least, we could have a cordial conversation. One of the big problems when it comes to politics these days is people always ask, why are things so polarized these days? It didn't used to be like that. And the simple reason being is that we let people who could not be more ignorant if they literally tried to be more ignorant about topics, we let those people off the hook. We let them spout their BS, no questions asked. Like just imagine if you didn't even know basic math and you were trying to advise the government on fiscal policy. Like just imagine the outrage. But when people do it with the equivalent to guns, nobody cares. Or gun owners do, but the mainstream, they don't care. So this is the big problem. The reason why things are polarized these days, I believe, is that you have people who are incredibly ignorant, that are holding positions that they are incredibly confident about when they could not be more ignorant. And you try and have cordial conversations with these people, and you simply can't because they're so ignorant. And there's no debate on the ignorance of these people. When you have people that literally want to ban gun, they're okay with one gun and they're not okay with a different gun, even though it's the exact same gun. There's no way you can have cordial conversations with these people. It's not possible. It's not possible because we have one side of the spectrum that refuses to actually get an honest and unbiased and objective worldview. Like, here's the thing. Whenever you're debating any political issue, any issue whatsoever for that matter, if you don't understand the other side's point of view at least reasonably well, you should not be having that discussion. In my mind, you're a bit of an a-hole because you're just asking for trouble. You're just asking for trouble. And this is the big problem when it comes to political discussions these days, is that most people, especially on the left, let's just be honest about it, but it happens on the right to some degree as well. You have people that have no idea what the other side believes and why they believe it. Like, no idea whatsoever. Because if the anti-gun side actually understood what the pro-gun side argument was, they wouldn't be saying 90% of what they're saying. They would never say we just want to ban the scary assault rifles. They would never say we care about saving lives. They would never say any of that. They would never say any of it, because if they understood our arguments, they wouldn't say it, because they're just wasting time and they're just making themselves look stupid. Um, but people probably are wondering, okay, well, why do they do what they do? They do what they do because it works. They do what they do because it works. The general public seems to get a rush out of their sense of, you know, being bigger than they actually are. Like, the average person views it as a badge of honor to do this kind of stuff. And the overlords, the people at the top, they know that the average person, especially their supporters, are too ignorant to get an honest and objective worldview. They're not smart enough. They don't have the intelligence to do this kind of stuff because they don't care. They've never been exposed to other sides of the spectrum. They don't value exposing themselves to the other side of the spectrum. And a lot of people like to claim they do, but they don't. The only time you have these leftists that say, oh yeah, I get my news from an honest and unbiased point of view. I get both sides. Well, who do you get that isn't on the left? And like, they don't say anything. Or one guy I was talking to the other day, oh, the National Post. National Post, they can pretend to be conservative all they want, but they're not. And here's the reason why I say they pretend to be conservative. I don't know anybody. I've never met anybody, and I've talked to a lot of people that are conservatives. I don't know anybody that talks up the National Post. Like, I've never met anyone who talks up the National Post. But here's the thing. I've met plenty of people on the left, people that I know off the top of my head, that think that CBC and CTV is credible, right? I know plenty of people that will argue to the death over those points of view. So again, that's one of the many problems. But again, getting like the main point here being is that the reason why this discussion has gone so sideways, the reason why we can't have an honest and objective conversation, is you have one side that is so ignorant, so oblivious to reality that it's not even funny. And again, the one thing that I could probably hear people saying, "Oh, this is a minority." No, no, it isn't a minority. It isn't. The vast majority of anti-gunners are this dumb. And again, I don't mean to be mean to people, but I'm not going to pretend reality isn't reality. In that, how many anti-gunners, one of their main arguments is, "Oh, we need to just ban the assault rifles." Okay, well, you're proving that you have no idea what you're talking about by definition, by default, based off the fact that assault rifles already are banned in Canada. They already are. And if they were actually honest about it, if they specifically said, we want to ban semi-automatic rifles that look scary, if they were actually honest about it, we could actually have an honest conversation. The reason they don't do that is that it's a combination of they're just that ignorant that they genuinely believe that military style assault weapons are actually used or actually legal for civilians to own in Canada. And if they actually, and the bigger one I believe is if they actually told the average person that we simply want to ban guns because they look scary, it would make them look stupid, right? Like, just imagine if I was like, yeah, I just want to ban cars that, have, fancy rims. I just want to ban cars that have wings. I just want to ban cars that are convertibles. Like, you would sound insane. But if you said, I just want to ban the cars that go really fast, the ones that kill the most people, right? Well, yeah, that would be a better argument. Like I say, so that's what needs to happen. Is that if the anti-gun side actually wants to have a honest and cordial conversation, they need to be honest about their beliefs. The first thing being is that they want to ban pretty much all guns. Let's be honest about that. Number two being, they want to the guns that they're the most scared of are the ones that kill the least people. Like the gun, if you ask the average person that what is the if you could ban one gun, which one would it be? Oh, they would say, oh, AR-15, right? Like AR-15, they wouldn't even hesitate. But if you look at the numbers, the AR-15's never been a legally obtained AR-15 has never been used to kill someone in Canada in Canadian history, right? Like there's hundreds of thousands, probably, I don't know what the exact number is. I mean, they're registered, so you would be able to get an exact number probably. Probably into the hundreds of thousands of AR-15s in Canada. Not one of them's used to kill anyone. Not one of them. And again, like I say, if they were actually honest with people, they would look so stupid it's not even funny because the gun they want to ban the most is the one that literally kills no people. Right? Like, just imagine if my worldview was we got to ban this one thing. It's so bad, it's killing tons of people in other areas. Well, how many people has it killed in your area? None. How many of them is there? Oh, hundreds of thousands. You would look insane. Anybody with anything close to what one would call critical thinking skills would laugh you out of the room. And that's the reason that they don't do that. That's the reason they do that. And that's the reason why they constantly stick to this military style assault rifle thing because it elicits an emotional response. They know that the vast majority of their supporters and followers are people that are emotionally driven. They're not fact based. They're not rationally, truth based. They don't care about that because if they did, they wouldn't hold the opinions they hold. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to have a little bit of a rant about the insanity of anti-gunners, and this is just a prime time example of that. So anyway, if you liked the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Again, people always ask, especially on the right, how do we push back against this kind of stuff? The only way is to, number one, speak the truth. That's the biggest one. The next biggest one is you have to support people that are speaking the truth. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You have to support them. So make sure you check out those links. They're all in the description. You can find them all there.